Steel Ball Run isn't just my favorite JoJo part, it's one of my favorite manga series of all time. That's why, even though I haven't been keeping up with the JoJo anime adaptation, I just had to be there for the premiere of Steel Ball Run's first episode. And it was great! Immaculately animated, beautifully rendered, and full of the zaniness and inventiveness that we expect from the JoJo franchise. David Production has always done a really good job with this series, but they've definitely outdone themselves with Steel Ball Run. Anyway, episode 1 was amazing, and I'm so ready to jump right back in with episode 2. Wait, where's episode 2? No, seriously, where's episode 2? Oh look, Anitrends released an interview with the director about the first episode. He must know when... Wait, he doesn't know when the next episode will be out? Well, who knows? Okay, Netflix released a trailer for stage 2. Surely, there has to be a date for when the next episodes are out. Well, that's concerning. So this is sort of an awkward start for what easily has the potential to be one of the greatest anime shows of all time. I mean, this is far from the worst case scenario. What we've seen so far at least has been really good, and there's no sign that production issues are the cause of the delays. The director himself says that the episodes just take a long time to make, and when we consider how immaculately they've handled the horses, a subject that has been notoriously difficult to animate, it's easy to see why. When I think about travesties like Uzumaki and One Punch Man Season 3, I have to say that I definitely take a polished work that takes a little longer than usual to come out over a rushed out project that looks like garbage. The thing is, putting out just one episode with no news on when the rest of the series will come out is just a really weird thing to do, especially with one of the most hotly anticipated anime adaptations of the last decade. People have been waiting on pins and needles to see Steel Ball Run get animated, and the first episode alone shot the whole series up to number 1 on my anime list. It's come down, of course, but the fact that it got that high to begin with is proof of how much hype is behind this show. Now that it's been made devastatingly clear that more episodes won't be coming for a good while, that excitement might start to disappear, which would be a real shame. Now, I'm sure there are a lot of you that say that the quality of the show is way more important than the hype around it, and you'd be correct. You're absolutely right to think that. However, let's not pretend that that's not important either. How much buzz surrounds a certain show is a big factor in how big the audience for that show can get. And while JoJo certainly has a massive fandom that's going to hold up Steel Ball Run no matter what, you can't deny this weird release schedule is going to put a damper on things for the more casual audiences. This isn't even the first time that JoJo's has been struck with a weird, unconventional release schedule either. The previous part, Stone Ocean, was released in 3 core-length batches over the course of its run, despite previous series being released weekly. This is because of the rights to the anime adaptation being purchased by Netflix, who clearly had their own ideas on how to release an anime. This move was widely criticized by many an anime fan who felt like the batch release forced discussion on the show to dry up sooner. And when it comes to Steel Ball Run, many people were worried about it getting a batch release as well. Although, if we're being honest here, I think I might have preferred a batch release to whatever it is that's happening now. To me, the biggest question here is, why? Why would they bother to release such a killer first episode so early, knowing that they wouldn't be able to follow up with another one? I know people were antsy to see the next JoJo part get animated, it's been 5 years. But I feel like most fans would have been much happier to see the first episode come out along with the others, even if it meant yet another batch release. It just seems like an odd decision to make, especially since it's not exactly a common move for anime series to do. Okay, it could have been a sort of advanced preview for the series, I suppose. That's not unusual, especially for shows that are highly anticipated like Steel Ball Run. Oshinoko, for example, had an advanced screening a month before it began airing on TV, and that helped build anticipation for the actual show. However, I do think they usually say that it's an advanced preview if that's the case, and without an actual date to look forward to, any anticipation built up by this preview can easily evaporate anyway. The next episode could come anywhere between 3 to 6 months from now. How many people can keep themselves excited about a show when they don't even know when it's going to continue? I mean, fans forget details about previous episodes even when they're watching on a weekly basis. When Steel Ball Run finally starts up again, how much of the audience will remember what happened in this incredible first episode? There's also been a lot of discourse and speculation over what Steel Ball Run's release schedule is going to actually look like on Netflix. And while a batch release is probably still the most likely reality, this unprecedented move of releasing just one episode first seems to have people thinking out of the box. If you don't know much about Steel Ball Run, the entire story revolves around a horse race across the United States, broken up into 9 stages. The first episode covers the first stage in its entirety, thanks to some cuts, and the Netflix trailer specifically centers itself around the second stage rather than a full rest of the season. This has a lot of people wondering if Netflix is trying to plan the releases of Steel Ball Run around stages rather than the more conventional season. To anyone who knows the manga, if this is the actual plan, it's a pretty bad one. The stages vary in length and significance, with the 8th stage in particular taking up a larger portion of the actual story than the others. Trying to release the anime in accordance with the stages isn't just a bad idea, it's just bizarre. I can't imagine anyone would be interested in seeing something like that happen. Of course, I don't really think there's a possibility of that happening anyway. I'm sure the release will be much closer to the batch releases of Stone Ocean, and as much as fans don't want that, I think that's going to be the best we're gonna get. But even that means we're still going to see a lot of momentum lost for the Steel Ball Run anime, which is a real shame. I know JoJo's is never gonna fade into obscurity, but it would suck if casual viewers lost track of the show because of this weird release schedule. I know it seems like I'm making mountains out of molehills, but I'm really just a huge fan of the Steel Ball Run story, and I really want as many people as possible to see how amazing it is. A lot of people like to refer to this part as a reboot, and it sort of is, but it's really just Araki breaking down the foundation of what JoJo is and using his gained experience and boundless imagination to completely reinvent the JoJo concept. I like every single JoJo part, and even the worst parts still have a lot of good aspects to them. But by parts 5 and 6, the series had started to get a little formulaic. Steel Ball Run allowed Araki to break out of that formula, and while it still exists to some extent, since the story doesn't need to be connected to what came before, it's able to have a much stronger focus on building a narrative and theme of its own. Having already read the entire series myself, I know there's a lot of exciting things coming up, and I really hope people stick around to see it. But hey, what do you guys think? Is this delay much ado about nothing, or is it something to worry about? Let me know your opinions in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Subscribe if you want to catch more of my videos. This was a video from Square One, and thanks for watching.